Hello and welcome to House of Cult. My name is Alessandro. With me is Ariel Salsa, owner and founder of the Pretty Cult. Today we are so stoked to be joined by Anastasia and Max, the sibling duo behind The Haunt, who are releasing their debut album, New Addiction, on July 25th via Nettwerk Music Group. Just thank you so much for joining us, y'all. How's the day going so far?
So far, so good. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for having us.
thank you so much.
I'd love to start, from the beginning. Obviously, you guys are both siblings and grew up in Florida. Was music kind of, a big part of your life and your family, growing up? And what was kind of that early connection with music for you guys? Being what kind of music was maybe played around the house? Were there instruments? Did you guys take lessons together? Like, I would love to know how, you know, early on how you guys kind of came together, obviously, and wanted to be like a sibling duo situation.
Yeah. So yeah, neither of our parents were musicians, but they were like music lovers. And so that was kind of pretty influential on how we got into music in the first place. They were pretty adamant when we were like super young. They put us in like, we were like five in like piano lessons, doing like little things. But I don't think either one of us really like took to like loved playing piano or anything from like an initial early young age. It was just like something that we did. It was like part of our like childhood. But then because music was like super important to our parents and that we had like some kind of inclination for it. I think they both kind of like I think my mom played an instrument when she was like really young and they just kind of both wanted us to have like some kind of like introduction to music. And then as we grew up, they were both from New York, so we grew up on a lot of 90s hip hop, a lot of 90s rock. And
Cool.
then they were like very in tune with like trying to show us kind of like what we missed out on. Like here's
Yeah.
catch us up. Okay, here's the beat. Here's
Yeah, we'd be like, my mom would be like driving us to school, and each day would be like a
a
different
lesson.
lesson. And it's just
Nice.
like school.
That's so sick. I love that.
And so that was kind of our like introduction to music. And then it wasn't really like a conscious decision that we were like wanted to play in a band together. It was more like she could sing and I had really started to take like a liking to playing guitar. While I was learning piano, I always kind of wanted to learn guitar instead. So I started learning guitar. I got like a $80 Squire and like we were just like kind of started doing it that way. Initially she would sing and like we weren't she was very shy, so she would make everybody in the room turn around instead of herself turn around and face the wall while she sung. And then eventually, like when she would have like little performances or open mics, she would make me sit on the stage and she would just sing a cappella back then. And I would just sit there kind of like as an emotional support animal.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I kind of was like, okay, if we're gonna like do this consistently, like I'm gonna play piano behind you. And then initially, we started playing with guitar, and we were a two piece for like a decent little while before we were like a real band. But
yeah.
that is how we started playing. Actually, it was like 11, and we started playing out as a two piece. It was just her vocals, my guitar, and a little bit of my vocals, and then it kind of evolved. We added drums, and we added bass, and we kind of all evolved from there.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
Is there, I just thought of something. Is there a band for me? I know specifically I grew up, my parents had great music taste as well. And is there like a band specifically that like kind of you feel is like the anthem or like soundtrack to your childhood that like every time you hear it, you think of like, ah, being in the car, like going to school with mom kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was like a huge, like probably like from before I was conscious, and then like I just like those songs that you just knew before you knew words, and you just like kind
Yes.
so for me that was there's two. It was like White Stripes Elephant album, and then there was Californication, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay.
Um,
Absolutely.
and so it was kind of one of those
That's
things where,
hard.
yeah, I mean, that was for me, that's kind of what I grew up like already knowing, you know what I mean? And so that feels like my childhood. When I listen to like There's No Home for You Here, it's like it feels like my childhood.
Yeah.
I love that. Like
Yeah.
my first memory really of truly being blown away by music was the summer of 1999. I was 5 years old and the Californication video was on MTV. And I'll never forget the first time I saw that because it's
Yeah.
like the craziest music video
No, it's all,
ever.
yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's
Dude,
awesome.
mine. I'm a little bit older. So mine specifically was Tears for Fears, Songs from the Big Chair album
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
with my mom.
Greatest album of all
And
time.
she would drive me. I was really into dancing when I was little. So a little bit different side of music, but a lot of ballet and stuff. And we would go to and from ballet, and she would have this best of 80s tape that
Awesome.
we would listen to. So like Billy Idol, like so many like the tracks of the 80s. And then with my dad, when he would drive, it was all Metallica. So
Okay.
Metallica is a huge one for me. I think of being a kid and like my dad driving in his like old black truck that he used to have and just like blaring Metallica and being like kind of scared of it when I was like super little, but also
That
being
seems like
like,
such a vibe on the way to ballet. Just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
exactly.
Man,
yeah.
Yeah,
I see.
our parents were kind of the same way. It was like my mom was like, because they're both like young. They were young when they had us, and our mom was still like going out to like local shows and stuff like that, like when we were
Sick.
kids. And so, I mean, both parents were, but my mom more than my dad. Our mom was cooler than our dad. And so she was like showing us like all the cool new like alternative music. It was like a lot of like Two Door Cinema Club and like all this stuff that was like coming out at that time, The Kills and like stuff
Yeah.
that was really popping off at that time. And then our dad was kind of like a lot more of like the historian. You need to know this. And if you,
Yes.
it was like a lot more of like, we're getting in his car and he's going to show like Led Zeppelin and like the Beatles and stuff like that, Pink Floyd.
For
So
sure.
cool. So cool.
Yeah, and then in 2015, you obviously launched your first band, Anastasia Max. And I thought it was awesome hearing that, Anastasia was only 12 years old when you guys were first starting to play shows. For myself personally, like, I started playing shows at 12 years old as well, up in Seattle. And a big thing that I sort of wanted to ask you was, did you kind of feel like, playing in clubs that young and being around, obviously older musicians, did you feel like it was not only daunting, but you had to work extra hard to prove that you weren't just a kid playing and, the older
Yeah.
boomer musicians kind of, raising their eyebrows a little bit?
Yeah.
Miami was like we very grateful for it because that's like how we came up and I think it made us better, but it
Yeah.
was very
Competitive.
competitive and cutthroat and like
Yeah.
it's like
And no one
not
really cared that we were kids also. Like if
there
we
was
were
no
just
like
kind of with the grown-up fans,
No, that's a good
just
point.
like rocking out.
It was like, yeah, not like, because sometimes if you're like somewhere, you'll like see a show and this will be a 12-year-old on stage and you'll be like, that was really good. And here's like or like that, whatever lens you look at it, whether it was good or it was bad, you would look at it and you'd be like, but they're 12. And there was none of that.
There
We
was
got
none of that.
it was like they're either
Down
good or
here.
they're not good, and they're not gonna play if they're not good. And
Yeah.
if they do play and they're not good, we're gonna
It was the
not
way
be
that
happy
we were
about
kind of
it.
like spoken to, like from the first time playing like
Churchill's
and
yeah.
grimy ass venues in
My-
Miami. I feel like I was always spoken to like I was like an adult.
Yeah.
And looking back, I was not. But like sound people, no one was like, oh, this is like a cute little like
No.
12-year-old and 14-year-old or whatever we were.
No.
They were like, just
Yeah.
do your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think it was good for us
For
because
sure.
I feel like, based on like our friends who are the same age, a lot of them started doing music, 5 years ago and stuff like that. When we've kind of like have played, I don't even know, 1,000 shows. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
Off because of it.
right.
Because
Yeah.
it was a super cutthroat music scene when we were getting brought
Yeah,
up. It's
definitely
died
thick-skinned.
down now, like whatever is happening locally. But
Yeah.
back then, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
It was grunge and it was punk and it was thrashy and it was if you were not doing that, you were not cool. And so it was like you had to kind of whatever sound you wanted to do. Like we knew, like not even speaking just about us, like we knew psychedelic bands that would have to make psychedelic grunge. You know what I mean? Like there had to be parts of your music that were dirty and disgusting,
Also, you had-
or else you were not playing shows.
Right, and you also had to be good, which I feel like is like less and less important now.
It is.
Yeah.
So it really helped us become like actually good at our instruments and our
Yeah.
craft.
I remember I vividly remember like when Instagram like became a real thing and then bands like got on it, but it was like for fun. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
were on Instagram as a creative outlet more than like
No.
this is how I'm going to build my career.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it was kind of weird. We had like Facebook and like Bandcamp and like it was like
Yeah.
a totally different
I
scene
didn't
back
have a
then.
phone when we started, so
Exactly.
I was actually a child.
It's amazing.
But yeah, it was definitely. I do think that it was good to be around like older musicians all the time because a lot of them were really good. But if our parents weren't super involved, I think there was a really large. Miami is like messy, and like there was a really large chance that it could have been really bad for us. So it was really good that it was like our parents were there helping through that time when we were young,
Yeah.
kept us out of a lot of really common, LA is the same way.
Yeah.
It can get messy, what I mean?
Oh,
Drugs and alcohol and shit
absolutely.
like. And it was just like, we were pretty we were really grateful that we had them through that time period because, it was just like what everybody else was doing, you know what I mean?
Of
And now
course, yeah.
yeah, and then and it kept us like kind of on track because like every band that we're talking about now does not play anymore. They do not exist
Yeah,
anymore.
they fully support us, but from a very young age, it was like we only fully support this if you're gonna actually make it like your job,
Oh,
not just
yeah.
like fuck
Yeah.
around. Do it, we fully support you.
Yeah.
Do it the right way. Do it good.
That was like the only way that they were like supportive of
Yeah.
it. And that obviously that's a good thing, but it was obviously like, okay, but where do we start? Like, because a lot of bands are just like start out as bands and then you kind of you move into that next phase of like, okay, now we're gonna try to scale and this and that. And from day one, we were like, we know what we are and we want to scale it.
Yeah.
And this is how we're gonna do it. And that was kind of I think the different approach. And there was definitely like a lot of even from older bands, younger band like bands our same age. There was no younger bands, but bands our same like same rough age as me. And then like the older band that kind of like generation before who kind of looked down on us for being the band that really wanted to turn it into like our job business. You know what I mean? And that was kind of always something that we just kind of had to like deal with. I feel like there's like a big stigma about like music has to be only creative, where
Yeah.
it can be creative and also be your job. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of where we have always kind of tried to take it, and so far so good, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I feel too, like I've mentioned this to a couple artists that we've had on. We had a guest on yesterday who also is like very business mindset. And I do think in today's day and age, it's super important for artists to be able to, of course, be artistic and have it be your art, but you need to have a business mindset. Like it's
Yeah.
so important that being a band is a business. It is your job.
Yeah.
If you really want this to be a thing, and there's so many different things to look at. And yeah, it's kind of like the days of just like, I think of like, even teenage years, like Warped Tour kind of vibe where it's like, we just want to play music and party. It's like, you can do that, but that's not sustainable. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So,
The more you
and like,
oh, sorry, no, you go ahead.
no, you go. You
I
go.
was just gonna say the more that you scale, like the more it continues to grow. It's like not just us anymore. Like we're the two band people, but then
Yeah.
there's
Mhm.
session players and there's the tour manager and there's the sound guy and lighting guy, and they're all like real part of the team family at this point. And it's like you have to be able to constantly like, it's a job. You're running a business and there's other people at play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Yeah, and
think
they're relying on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime like people kind of stick up their nose about, artists trying to make a living doing art, I think it really comes just simply from a place of jealousy and also the fact of a fear of actually they know that they cannot sink everything into music and sacrifice everything and
Yeah.
make that their life path. And I think it always comes from jealousy and insecurity when people have that like sellout mindset and bullshit like that. It's just so
Yeah,
counterproductive.
and at the local scale too, it's like, okay, so I mean, you can choose to be in a band for fun and to party if you want to, but we're doing this for different reasons. And I think that that's one of the weird things about art. It's like, because everybody in accounting, they're doing it for the same reason. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so it's like people do have different reasons. Like some people are, it's just an outlet, and you're like going to run into them on a festival, and you guys are doing this to like support your life. You have just different mindsets on it. You know what I mean? And I don't really judge those people. It's to kind of just like a different, it's a different thing. And I do think we're coming up now. It's a lot less because I do think with Instagram and Facebook, it's like most bands start out as a business before they start out as a band. They're like, how do we sell this person? You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
And so for us, it was like the kind of in a time where that wasn't as common. And so in Miami, it was just very like slacker rock was the big thing, grunge and slacker rock and that kind of thing. And so it was like that was the kind of bands that we were playing on lineups with. They just had a different mindset for it. And we were also kids, so they automatically wanted it not like us.
Kind of speaking of evolution, from Anastasia, Max to the Haunt, is obviously a major shift in the name, the sound, the visuals, identity. What kind of inspired your guys' like rebranding?
It's funny because it was like a lot less of a like intentional rebrand and more of a we were kind of getting closer to where we always wanted to be. It was like we were working with the assets that we had. So I was like co-producing with a local guy, Josh Diaz, and he was great. And we loved the record that we made with him, the first EP. And then, we kind of were like, as we were growing, we were trying to get closer to like the sound that we wanted to make. And there was a couple different like things at play, and it was like, obviously it doesn't happen overnight. And we were trying to move towards who we wanted to be, but we weren't fully there yet until we had kind of signed with Nettwerk, and I produced the most of the record that was the DOA and DNR, like kind of combined EPs. We look at it as like a record, and that's kind of when we got to the point where we were like, okay, this is like what we want to sound like. And we did a couple songs on that record with Kevin Thrasher, and we felt like he brought out like an even cooler side to it, and that's why we did this whole record that's coming out now with him. And so it was less of like an intentional rebrand. It was more like, okay, now we're getting to where we want to be. You know what I mean?
Like an evolution. Like, you're kind of just flowing to where you guys were already headed.
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of just like assets versus like what can we do to get where we want to be. And then as that grew, we were like, okay, now we really can capture like where we want to be at and feel really good about it now. And like moving forward, we kind of have like a really strong, we know what we want to be and we know how we want the music to sound.
Yeah. And I feel like we always had that, but we were young. So we were pulled a few different directions that we didn't want to be.
Yeah.
With a few of the EPs. So I think we finally, like with growing up, have our voices and can not be dragged all around a little bit.
Yeah, and then
for sure.
Easily, at least.
Yeah, definitely. And when I learned production during COVID, that was kind of like one of the big turning points too. It was like now we can like demo everything. We know exactly what we want it to sound like. But I wasn't ready to record the album at that point. I did that later on, but it was definitely like, okay, we know what we like. I can get this song to the bones of what we want it to sound like, and that was huge for us to be like, okay, here's like the idea. You know what I mean? As opposed to coming in and like having lyrics and a melody and chord progression. That's a lot different than like drum beats and riffs and all that recorded already.
For sure. And that totally segues into, the debut album, New Addiction, and we always bring this up on the podcast, but you have your entire life to write your first album, they say, and then, 6 months to write the second album, typically. I'm really curious about the process behind this album because obviously collaboration was a huge focus for this album. You mentioned Kevin Thrasher, who not only came from Escape the Fate, but then eventually went on to produce for MGK, Jelly Roll, so many different people, but then also, Curtis Peoples as well, who's an absolute legend. And then our very, very good friend, Kat Leone of Holy Wars, I know actually worked on the title track with you guys as well, which is so cool. So, just sort of walk me through the collaborative nature behind this album and sort of, putting together, your first full body of work.
It was kind of one of those things that was unexpected for us. That's definitely not like it wasn't our like main intention going into the record, was it for it to be like a very collaborative effort or anything like that. But it was really cool to have, we kind of went in with like almost all the songs like I would say what 80% written, something like that. And it was really cool to just get in the room with like other musicians that we love and respect and like have great work and kind of just like,
See what could be,
yeah,
what could elevate it.
yeah, what could we tweak here? What could we elevate there? Just like getting other people's ears on a record was something new for us, and it was pretty cool and exciting, and it led to some cool, interesting new takes on little parts here and there, and it was fun. It was something that we weren't expecting to do, but Kevin was like, I feel like it would be cool to try this out, and it ended up being very cool, and it was a fun experience for us to work with other musicians for kind of the first time.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, obviously masochistic lovers is also, it features a collaboration with Craig Mabbit, who is definitely scene royalty. If growing up, you could not escape Craig Mabbit, from like the years of 2009 to currently,
Yeah.
which is so cool, and this song has been getting major traction on active rock radio. And so I'm kind of curious, like, did you have a feeling that this song would take off the way that it has? And, what do you hope that sort of, both your longtime fans and new listeners will take away from this track? Because obviously so many new people that are not from your core fan base are now discovering this song on the
Yeah.
radio now.
It's actually really funny because we didn't, it was not one of our favorites.
Yeah, the album has so many songs on it that we were like super like out of the 10, 10. You know what I mean? We were like, we love this song.
Originally, we loved it, obviously.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
we were like
but-
7 or 8 on it. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And it honestly wasn't until like a month before the song was going to come out that he jumped on that second verse. It was originally just me.
It was
Or
you.
you?
No, I
Yeah, it
didn't even
was
sing
me.
on it. It was you. Yeah.
So it was like really far into the process, like the song was ready to come out, and then
Yeah.
we got him to jump on it, and I think it elevated it to an insane place. It's one of our favorites.
We
absolute
heard like
favorites
the
now,
first
so
rough cut and we were like, oh,
this
is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's now.
It's something you wouldn't even like think, oh, this song is missing that, because obviously we thought this song is complete, we're ready to go.
Right.
But it just
And it was our first kind of like feature like that. We've done the collaboration before the record came out. We did a collaboration in studio together. We wrote a song with Missio, and that was really awesome. It was a different process. This was so funny because it was just like we knew how we felt about the song, and we didn't think that the feature was gonna like boost it. That we
Yeah.
were like, okay, it's gonna be cool because fucking Craig Mabbit, like it's gonna
Yeah.
be cool. You know what I mean? But we were like, oh, this like made the song better. It was like,
Yeah.
and it was just like, okay, wow. And that now it's like a song that we were probably like on the record. It was one of our lower tier favorites, and it kind of just became like
rose to the top. And
now it's like our encore track. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like
Exactly.
it's totally weird how that
Spoiler
kind of
alert.
thing. Yeah, spoiler alert.
It's so weird how that happens with so many bands where it's like, yeah, the song that you're maybe not the most sure of, or you add something in the 11th hour, right as the
Mhm.
record's about to be finished and turned in. And then it's like, well, there you go. That was it.
Yeah.
Like,
and
so
also I feel
weird.
like that's where the best songs come from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the right
Last
time.
time we were just in the studio like a month or two ago. We were finishing up for the day. He like picked up an acoustic guitar. We had been working for like 8 hours, 9 hours.
Yeah.
Picked up an acoustic guitar and then wrote one of our favorite songs
For like
from
the
this from
next.
yeah.
There we go. Breaking news.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
One of our favorite songs from
Something, I don't know.
Something coming soon.
Yeah.
Obviously this album, deep dives into themes of toxic relationships, and why did that feel like the central theme to explore? And did writing about those experiences, were they healing and cathartic for you guys? And, is it easy? Do you guys find that it's easy to be vulnerable in your music?
I think that's like the only place I'm really vulnerable. Honestly, I struggle with my emotions and discussing them ever. So I think when I'm singing them is the only time they really come out for the most part.
Right.
So that's at least for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree. And sometimes it's like, I don't know about you, but it's a lot of times for me, it's like a kind of almost stream of consciousness where you just start writing something and you're just like, oh, I guess I'm angry about this. Now let's talk about it.
Yeah.
That's like one of those weird things. Yeah, the whole album kind of has that theme. There was like multiple different pretty intense life things going on when we wrote it. And it was it was a tumultuous time.
Nice.
You like that vocab word? And they, it was like, it was just like a hard time for the band while that record was being written. And it kind of felt like you were writing a record through a point where we didn't even know if we were really going to make it through that point. And we did, and it ended up being the record that kind of catapulted us like way more forward than we ever thought it would.
Mhm.
Because nothing really we're on the same record label. Nothing really changed between album one with the record label and album two with the record label besides the songs themselves. And so it was like, okay, I guess we kind of wrote something that a lot of people could feel at that time. You know what I mean?
For sure. And I think it's also like we were really, when we went in the studio, we were going through it hardcore.
Fully.
And usually when we go in the studio, it's like we're pulling from like a past relationship or like something that hurt us that's still healing or something like that.
6 months ago,
We
a year
were-
ago.
Right. It's like we went in the studio like 2 months after like
The
a
worst time of our
disaster,
life. Yeah.
worst time of our life. And I feel like that raw emotion really connects with people. I feel like you can kind of hear it.
Yeah, we
in the
didn't.
songs. They're kind of like all different versions, like cries for help or like
Yeah, exactly.
diss tracks, if you will.
Yeah, and I think something that we really didn't even really try to do, but we're not good at it anyway. I think it comes from our New York parents. Is like there was not a lot of like metaphor. It was like this is
Yeah.
what happened and this is how we feel. You know what I mean? And I think that really like helped us talking about like how if it was cathartic or not. And I think that was really what was cathartic about it was like a lot of you can't say the things that you always want to be able to say, and you can't tell the person that you hate them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But you can say it to everybody else. You know what I mean? And we kind of did. It was very like fun. I wouldn't say fun's the right word, but it was definitely a good feeling to be able to like get that out
Yeah, like a release.
and then
definitely,
like
like, and also in just like healing from what actually went down. I feel like
exactly, yeah.
we would not have done it so quickly if we didn't purge all of that out right away.
And then go on tour and sing them to people who are feeling the same way and having them sing it back and like know that other people go through the same things at the same time. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was a lot of time because
Yeah.
we started the band and our lyrical content was a lot about like stuff that she was going through at that time in literally middle school, and so it was like
And I feel like we always had that connection with our little fan base
Yeah.
because the first tours we went on were with Palais Royale. We went on
Yeah.
3 different runs. And I was 15 at the time, and all their fans were 15 at the time.
Wow.
So I was playing to all of these girls, speaking about what a 15-year-old is going through, and they were all going through the same shit. So at the merch table, we would just kind of be like little
little
therapy
yeah,
session.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
I love
having those
that.
fans stick with us since then. We've kind of like grown up together from that little like
Yeah.
cult following.
Yeah, and that was like a perfect thing at the perfect time. And that was kind of reflected the size of the band and the audience was like the 15-year-old girls through like 17-year-old girls and even boys and everybody, everybody could like at that point relate to that. But now that we're like adults going through the adult issues, it's kind of a wider net of like, oh, yeah, a lot of people feel this same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of a good thing to know, like, were we like wrong for feeling the way we did or this or that? And it was like, no, I guess not. It was kind of, it was kind of a shared emotion,
I mean, what a special thing like for your fan base that have followed you for so long. Like you will continue to grow with your fans and you always kind of be a part of their lives. That's such a beautiful thing to really think about. Like that's incredible.
It is really special, and we it was so crazy for us. Like when we were on we did those European first runs with Palais Royale when you were 15, right? And I was like 18, 19, and like to see like how much they connected to it and how many fan pages were popping up over like stupid things we were saying on like live.
Crazy, yeah.
It was just like on like Instagram Live. It was just such a crazy feeling. And then a lot of those same fans, even though they're not, middle school like fangirls now, they've grown with the band and they still come to the shows. And it's just like such a really cool and unique thing that I think we've had the opportunity to grow with those fans.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and kind of switching gears a bit, Teeth is a standout track on the album. And especially I love the vampire theme video. And it kind of got us thinking, we always like to ask our guests this, I've heard that you two are both horror fans, so I'd love to know some of your all-time favorite horror movies. And if you had the chance to score a horror film, what would the vibe be and what movie would it
Ooh.
be and why?
Actually, just watched a scary movie last night that I hadn't seen before.
What?
It was called Barbarian.
Yeah,
Oh,
Barbarian.
yeah. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
incredible. Yeah.
Just
That
like
shit
it.
was crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Don't think it was that scary.
No, I heard it was like thriller.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the
Yeah.
thing, whatever that fucking thing is,
I didn't
is
see it.
scary.
It's
Oh,
gross. Yeah.
gross. Whatever the
Yeah.
fuck is going on there. Definitely disturbing, but it wasn't too scary. But I thought I'd bring that up. I just saw that.
That's a
Yeah.
great one.
I'm trying to think. I think my favorites are like ones that I kind of grew up with. Like my all-time favorite is The Ring. I think The Ring is
Oh
like
my God.
the best.
Yes. I'm from Seattle, so
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
by default, it has to be my favorite horror movie as
Yeah.
well.
And then I as much as it's like a big one and they've kind of become just like so bad as they went on, I loved the original Conjuring.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Sinister,
Yeah.
Sinister was one of my favorites too. That like
This new Conjuring, it might be good. I don't know if you saw the trailer that got released like 2
I
days
didn't
ago.
see the trailer yet.
I feel like it's gonna be a step in the right direction again
Okay.
because the third one was
Yeah.
not great.
The second one was like watchable but iffy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
But I always lean like a little more cheesy horror
Yeah.
vibes. I love the screams. Love them.
Nice.
I love Carrie, the original Carrie.
Hell yeah.
Really fucked with the remake as well with what's her name, Chloe
Chloe
Grace.
Grace, yeah.
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 What else?
Trying to think.
Friday the 13th, for sure.
Nightmare on Elm Street classic, obviously.
Is there a horror movie that you would dream of scoring? Like if your music could score a movie?
It would have to be something paranormal for
Yeah.
sure.
I feel like it'd have to be something like intense. As much as I know you want to say Scream, I feel like it'd have to be more intense than Scream.
Oh, wait. What's it called?
You're talking about Halloween, right?
Oh, I love Halloween.
Yeah, the
I
Rob
forgot
Zombie
that-
Halloween.
Rob Zombie Halloween is my favorite. I completely
Yeah.
Okay, hell yeah.
Yes. Yes. No, I'm thinking of what's the one with the little girl? I'm not remembering the name.
Oh, you're talking about
If they made a remake,
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist. So they did like a new Poltergeist.
Yeah, a new Poltergeist.
New Poltergeist.
That last remake was horrific.
Yeah.
Um,
But if we could fix that up,
yeah.
that
And
would
then
be.
you guys get to score it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So you guys have obviously looked into the poltergeist curse, right?
What'd you say?
Like you guys have obviously looked into the poltergeist like
The
curse,
making of the
right?
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And with The
Yeah.
Exorcist, there's like a lot of
Unreal.
crazy shit about The Exorcist too.
It's unreal. It's
Yeah.
so crazy. Oh my
We're just
God.
like general horror fans. Like we'll go see everything. I got really excited because people were telling me that Sinners was a horror movie, and it was great, but it was not a horror
No.
movie.
No.
Mm.
And there hasn't been a good one in a minute now. I feel like.
Yeah.
28 years later, next month.
I know. I can't wait. I'm
I
so
know.
excited for that one.
Rolling visually too. You guys are very involved with the visual side for The Haunt, directing and shooting your own videos. Why has it been so important for you to be hands-on with that part of your art? And how do you guys typically approach, the visual side of each release?
Yeah, I actually forgot that he mentioned teeth. If you watch all the music videos from this album in order, the storyline should fall into each other.
Yeah.
And as we were writing the songs, I'm always like writing the music video in my head and thinking about how that would look and feel. But for this album, it's something new for us because it really is like if you watch them all in order, it's like a cohesive story that goes with the songs. So that hopefully I feel like we might have lost a plot here or there, but hopefully mine sometimes goes different directions, but hopefully when the album's out and you like watch it all together, it will feel like
A little short film.
yeah.
Oh, that's so sick. I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I feel like it's so cool that you guys have that approach with all aspects of your art. Like just being super DIY with all of that is so awesome.
Yeah, we do all the artwork. We do I edit, she directs, and the music videos and kind of writes them and all that. And it's kind of we just got like we want to be super involved with like every part of it because we think it like all kind of really reflects us, and we get super super tedious on like I mean, really, she gets really, really tedious. Every little detail and everything like that. And so we just, yeah, it's kind of just part of the deal for us now. It's just how we run it, you know?
Love that. Yeah. And fashion is obviously a big part of the identity as well. What are some of your guys' favorite like clothing brands or designers, or personal like style icons?
Yeah. I feel like we mostly thrift everything ever. I have a thrifting problem, actually. Thrifted. This is like a little nightgown
I know, I was
set.
looking at that. It's so cute. When you came on, I was like, oh, slay.
I thank you. But I feel like mostly thrifted. We're not really big like name brand people, but I don't know if that's just because we can't be. But
Yeah.
we love all of your clothes, by the way. Yeah, love.
Oh, thank you.
Aw.
Yeah. And then by the time this is out, for those of you who are listening, we have a photo shoot that we did with Anastasia. So make sure you go look at that, because that'll be dropped at the same time as this episode.
So excited to see how it came out.
Yes.
But if we could afford name brands, I think I have my selection. It would.
Oh, I definitely have.
You have your selection?
Yeah.
Love Vivienne Westwood.
I was gonna guess that. I was like, she's gonna say Vivienne
Yeah.
Westwood.
I just thrifted some glasses, and like one is like a circle and one is like a diamond, and the eyes are different, and they're like my favorite glasses right now. Thrifted.
Nice.
Gucci for sure, like vintage
That was mine.
Gucci. That
Yeah.
was yours.
Yeah.
hmm
Your more, or that was yours?
No, that's mine, really.
That is yours.
Yeah. I honestly like she dresses the band for the most part. Like I like fashion and I want to look good and all that stuff, but she has a lot more finger on the pulse for like what that actually entails. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so I'm just to me like I love seeing the high fashion stuff, but again, like obviously that's just not where we're at
Yeah.
right now. And
I
so
love all of like the vampire wives dresses. I don't know if that's
Yes.
still a thing.
No, I was so sad. I was a huge Vampire's Wife fan. Obviously just the lore, like Susie Cave and like Nick Cave's wife.
Right.
No, but I saw that she closed her doors and I was really bummed
That's
about
really
it because
upsetting. Yeah, because
yeah, that was like a dream for me to own one of those dresses one day.
yeah, no, that is
Yeah.
really sad. I feel like that I always picture in my head like once we get to a place that we will be attending important things, that would be
that would be your connection.
But-
Yeah.
no longer. So we need someone else to pop up.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and also kind of, jumping off this, you guys were on, a sold out headline tour this past January, and you're going on a bunch of different festivals this summer, more touring in the fall, and I'm kind of curious. We always like to ask this, what does a perfect day off on the road look like for each of you? Like, are there any go-to food spots that you want to hit? What are your self-care rituals? Is there any
think we'll
road
probably
trip
start
guilty pleasures?
Yeah, it'll be super different.
So I think go first.
I mean,
I don't think we have the same.
I guess it
day.
depends because it does depend on where you are. Because like in the US, like there's a few key spots where you're like, I gotta get a Philly. I gotta get in New York. We have a few places that we just love to go. Shouts out Jade Island,
Yeah, our whole
But-
family's from New York. Our mom's from Brooklyn, our dad's
Yeah.
from Staten Island. So
Ferdinando's.
Nice.
So no more Ferdinando's.
that's
but
disheartening.
it's
Yeah.
the worst thing ever. But besides that, like if you're not in a spot that's got like something specific that you have to grab, then for me, it's generally just like I want to spend the day like relaxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to spend the day vibing, or there's like a break in the whenever there's like a break in the tour, but that's when my fiance will fly in and we'll just kind of like spend the day together doing some stuff. Like in this European tour, will be, obviously when you're in Europe, it's a totally different situation. It's like, I'm not here ever. I'm going to explore everything. I'm going to
Yeah.
walk. Our sound guy walks like, what was it, 60,000
No,
steps in
he's
a
crazy.
day,
He'll just wake up and like go on his own.
but he doesn't take any transport. Like he just walks the
walks,
whole
yeah.
thing.
Damn.
And it's
Crazy.
insane. Yeah.
I will not be doing that on an off day. I'm not walking at all.
Neither, no, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. Try not to like scream, I
Have
guess,
you
for a
said
day.
anything yet? What are you doing on an
I'm
off day?
vibing.
You're just vibing. Okay, yeah,
Just
we're just
vibing.
vibe the whole
Coffee
day.
shop, artisan coffee shop.
That's you. Him and his fiance love all the coffee shops everywhere.
Very
They've been
cool.
all of them ever. But I'm not a coffee drinker. That's not me.
No.
I don't know what I'm doing though.
feel like
Usually
you
my nails are broke on an off day, so I get them fixed.
Yeah.
My nails are crazy on tour.
Yeah.
So I'm usually trying to find a
gotta
nail
find the
salon.
salon, like my nail's broken, it hurts.
But
Been there.
yeah. No, I actually stopped using fake nails and just grew out my normal nails because we had a tragic
An incident.
incident in Zurich. After a show, I was reaching in my bag. It was like barely, I used to have like long fake nails. It was barely hanging on by a thread. I had it taped and I reached in my bag for something and it rips clean off my real nail bed. Nothing is there.
Oh my God.
Gushing blood.
my
My mom was
God.
there. I'm like crying like a baby. My mom was there. I'm like looking away and she's like nursing my finger. And all vlog. That vlog will not see the light of day because I'm like freaking out. But yeah, probably getting my nails fixed. What else am I usually eat stuff that I'm allergic to and not supposed to have on off days.
Okay.
So I'm probably having a bagel and cream cheese.
Yes.
And gluten. I'm having gluten the whole day.
Yeah, it's a gluten day.
Yeah.
Are
And,
you
maybe
are you
some
gluten
thrifting.
intolerant?
I am. Well, I mean, I'm like allergic to it, so it's not. I'm not gonna die.
Yeah.
But on the day of a show, it would definitely make me feel really bad. And same with dairy and a lot of things, honestly. So probably having a lot of
most
sweet
things, yeah.
treats.
Yeah.
My girlfriend has celiac, so she can't do
Yeah.
anything with the gluten at all. But then she always will cheat with a bagel, and then it's like
Right.
the rest of the day is just done.
It's
Like,
hell, yeah. So that's why it has to be an off day.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I feel the same way as her because like a bagel is, it's just
Joy.
like in my soul. I need
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And a gluten-free bagel is never very
They're
good.
they're actually the worst. The worst.
Yeah, pretty bad.
It's like sand.
Yeah. It's gross.
Yeah.
I don't like a gluten-free anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Who really-
Yeah.
And I feel like the people that do are just people that haven't had gluten in a really long time, so they forget
Yeah,
Mm.
very true.
stories of gluten.
That's true. That's like when I get like I'm doing like a diet or something, and you're like, I've been eating no sweets, so when I have a protein snack and it tastes like those protein cookies, you're
Yeah.
like, good. She's like, this tastes like ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
I'm also going to Pilates because I've recently gotten into Pilates, so I'm going there.
Nice.
Getting a pump on my off day. I feel like you would also get a pump on your off day.
I get a pump every day.
Every day. Okay. Not me.
Nice.
Every day.
Yeah.
Hell
That's just
yeah.
routine.
Yeah.
That's a solid, those are some solid off days, you know.
Yeah.
Just one more question for you guys. What's next for the Haunt 2025? Obviously, you just recently, you know, wrapped a headlining tour. You're playing some big festivals like Louder Than Life, Rock for the People, you know. What are you most excited for and looking forward to? And besides the shows and the new album, is there anything else that you want to tease or shout out?
Well, we right now, like, we have like our whole crew here. We're all in rehearsals and stuff. We're getting ready for June. We're gonna do our first European headline tour in June, playing
Crazy.
yeah, insane. Three festivals. Some of the shows are already sold out. It's like insane, but we were like, it's crazy for us because we're also going back to like some of the same places that we played when we first opened up on our first tour for Palais Royale.
Even
And
same
it's just
places
like-
that we went last year opening for
for
Missio.
Missio, yeah, and it's just like kind of insane. But anyway, so yeah, we're like super excited about that, and we're playing 3 festivals. This is our first like year of doing any festivals. We got thrown on last minute to Louder Than Life, which we're super excited about.
So excited.
And we're doing Download in June, Rock for People, Jera on Air. Those are going to be like
I think Rock for
incredible.
People we're super excited for that because last year we played this like truck bed in the parking lot for all the campers.
Yeah,
nice.
Which was super
Oh.
sick,
awesome. Yeah,
super cool. But
It'll
we're
be
so
cool to
happy
be
to
on the
be in
stage.
the festival.
yeah. We're actually on the main stage too, which is really
Insane.
cool. So we're super
So
excited.
we never really did that.
No,
So
we've done
well,
none of that.
We done
Yeah.
none of that.
And so, yeah, we're super excited about that. And
Yeah.
yeah. And then later in this year, we have a couple of announcements, but some more headline shows are coming up and we'll be like super, super excited about those. But, and then, yeah, we're just working on new music because we're kind of just like not planning on stopping. We're really excited with how Masochistic is doing right now at radio. And we're just going to continue to, you know, drive the fucking car.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
keep making new music, and there's going to be tons of new releases and tons of tour dates. So it's going to be a busy year.
Yeah.
the end of this year, beginning of next year, all through next year. Actually, it's just going to be nonstop. So we're really excited. And
Oh yeah,
That's
well, we're
really
waiting for
exciting.
that LA headline show. The TPC team will be there if you guys
Yeah.
come.
Very soon.
very soon.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's all
Good.
so exciting, guys. Congrats on everything.
Thank you
The
so
Thank
much.
you.
music is incredible, and it's just so great to see how much, the music is really resonating right now with this new record, and it's just incredible. So, congrats.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Yeah,
much.
we
Yeah,
really appreciate that. And thank you
Of
so much
course.
for taking the time to talk to us.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, thank you
Course.
so much, y'all.